Welcome back to the Business is Human podcast. I'm your host, Rebecca Fleetwood Hession, and we're here to bring you episodes that blend meaningful work with profitable success. Here to steward what I call the age of humanity. I believe if we transform the way we work, we can transform the way that we live. As always, my friendly request, if you like what you hear, hit subscribe so you don't miss any episode, and leave a review to tell the other humans that they might like it too. Always looking to help you and connect with others. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Well, it's that time of the year. It's the holidays. And if you're like my daughter, you've had your house decorated since November 1st. It does seem to be getting earlier and earlier every year. But you know what? Joy is in season anytime, in my opinion. I'm in the middle of writing a book right now, so I am analyzing every word that I type and say right now. So this could be interesting. I know from my own personal experience, as well as the world around us, that the holiday season is a kaleidoscope of emotions. And no matter what you're planning to do on any given day through the holiday season, there is an elevated sense of emotion about it, whether it's feeling overwhelmed and busy just in your day-to-day because your shopping list is always spinning, whether it's the gathering that's coming up that you're anticipating, whether it's the financial challenges that may come with it. Pretty much every single day between now and January 2nd, have an elevated emotion attached to it. And I want to share with you some science and some Bible as we do here. Now, anticipation. So your nervous system is constantly responding from a cellular perspective. And we can be shook up. Remember the snow globe example that I always use, that we are a big ball of cells and it's much like a snow globe that's getting shook up. And when the snow globe is shook up and everything is spinning around, some good things, maybe not so good things, just excited or stressed or whatever it is, what's inside the snow globe can't see out and what's outside can't see in. So we don't get clarity. We don't get connection. We get dysregulation. And the holidays is dysregulating, both in exciting ways. Think about if you have kids or when you were a kid, Christmas morning, the anticipation, the excitement, people are just screaming and hollering and excited. That's your nervous system being activated with excitement. Yours may be activated with looking at the budget and looking at the schedule, and it still makes connection really difficult when we are activated. And so one of the main things that we can do throughout this season is adhere to a daily stillness practice, adhere to micro moments of regulation and stillness throughout the day. More than ever, we need to actively and proactively do the things that keep us regulated. Now, one of the first challenges with this is you're going to try to talk yourself out of it, saying you don't have time for it. Because of all the additional tasks and activities that come during the holiday season, that's where the first thing that's going to go out the window. The time in prayer, the time in meditation, the time in stillness, the time for breath. You're going to try and fill that with tasks and lists and decorating and shopping. And that is going to cause you to be even more challenged with your connections, which last time I checked, the holidays were supposed to be about connection. So no judgment, no shame here, just awareness, because I've lived this same life too. But I've learned some things and I've changed some things that have had significant impact. And I want you to know them too. And I want you to embody them so that you can stay in connection during this holiday season. So don't give up your morning walk, your prayer time, your meditation, your whatever it is that keeps you regulated before and during the day, please, for the love of everything holy, keep those going. Okay, so our brain is a prediction machine. It's constantly using patterns to anticipate what's coming up next. So, one of the primary jobs of our brain is prediction. It's to constantly scan the environment and assess what's about to happen. Am I safe? And as it does that, it is using the past to predict the future. It's the foundation of what's called temporal integration. It's when both sides of the brain are figuring out how to work together. So the limbic system, the amygdala and the hippocampus, stores emotional memories and sensory cues. I mean, and the holidays are full of sensory cues, smells, laughter, holiday music, and those the smell of cookies baking or whatever, those can trigger old emotional states that are attached to memories, good or bad. And so before you even arrive at a gathering or engage in a holiday activity, your nervous system is already activating the same state of your nervous system that you experienced last year when you were 9 years old, somewhere back in the past. So you're not imagining it. Your body remembers it. And so if you're anticipating a holiday gathering that historically has not been ideal for whatever reason, you start to feel some kind of way about it before you even get there because your body remembers it. And so, and that's how God designed us, for safety. It's a gift, really. But when the past is painful, then that safety pattern can entrap us into experiencing the same shitty gathering year over year. And so this temporal integration is how the brain links the past, the present, and your hopes and dreams for the future together into one continuous story. It's how we listen to music as music and not just hear the notes, because our brain took the individual notes and put it all together into this emotional experience, into this story called a song. And so the prefrontal cortex helps us hold awareness of the now while we're integrating what has happened in the past and what's coming. And so it's like whoop, trying to put all that together. Now, this also, because it hasn't happened yet, the gathering this year hasn't happened yet, gives us the power of choice. We can update the story of what's going to happen in real time. We can start updating it now in terms of expecting something different, and we can do it in real time while we're at the gathering. So when we enter this holiday gathering and we hold space for awareness, we're not just already saying, yeah, that's going to suck and this is going to happen and they're going to say this and I'm going to get mad. Blah, blah, blah. Don't already rehearse what you don't want to happen. Instead, we can hold space for compassion and how we respond to things and create a new pattern than the one that we had in the past. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to change other people's behavior. Your uncle probably still going to be drunk. Your mom's still going to say something inappropriate. Your aunt's still, people still going to be people. But you are going to decide to disrupt the pattern by how you feel and how you engage with this gathering. Okay? I already feel people rolling their eyes like, I don't think you know my family. Listen, I don't think you know my family, but I'm going to honor them by not sharing those stories here on the podcast, although it could be really a fun one. Super interesting. So this temporal integration, this past, present, future getting wrapped up together is how God designed us so that we can have redemption in the moment. We can break the pattern to redeem it so we don't have to keep living it. So he gives us this nervous system to scan for safety, but also to learn peace and to learn how to replace some of the old patterns with peaceful ones. Because remember, all of our, when I say remember, like, oh, I'm sure you listen to every one of my episodes and have them all stored in your memory. That'd be delightful. All of our thoughts come from love or fear. And so every nervous system state can be traced back to those as core drivers. The driver of love, providing safety and connection, or the driver of fear that's trying to protect us and control things around us. Now, love activates the ventral vagal system, which gives us social engagement, eye contact, tone, facial expression. It's love has a different energetic frequency than fear. Fear activates the sympathetic fight or flight part of our nervous system, or dorsal collapse, just to shut down. And you may have said, you know what, I'm just not going. Just hang with me for a minute. Maybe there's a new opportunity here. But whichever energy you bring into the room is contagious. Again, it doesn't mean that people's patterns and behaviors, it's not going to be that your energy is going to change the way your cousin votes. It's not going to be that your energy changes that your family doesn't care that you eat healthy and they don't. Your energy isn't about changing other people's behavior specifically. It's about changing the energy and the atmosphere of the gathering. Okay? This is real. Here's how I know it's real. This past summer, I decided in my summer big family reunion that has historically, it's been bad. It's just not had a lot of joy. Has a lot of fried chicken and a lot of creamy pies and cakes, but it didn't have a lot of joy. And because of that, people would just come in, bring their regular food that they always bring, which is always, delicious from my childhood. And then we'd sit for a very short period of time because there wasn't enough joy in there. So people just like eat and leave. And they'd sit with their same little groups of their core family and nobody was really interacting. And it was like, I drive an hour to get there, y'all. I don't want to drive an hour and then eat fried chicken for 45 minutes and drive an hour home. So I decided, after studying a lot of this, I was going to bring the light of the world into my family reunion, whatever it took. No matter what anybody else said or did, it wasn't going to knock me off of knowing that the Lord loves me and asked me to come in and be the light of the world. I was going to do it at my family reunion. Now, this is important because I don't have a hard time bringing the light of the world into a keynote speech or into my coaching or into any other aspect of my life. I'm annoyingly positive. I'm aware. That's who I am. What's different is at my family reunion, I still have all of these past situations and ways that I've interacted with family members and their energy. Like all of that comes with me into the family reunion, more so than it does to the stage for a keynote or into a coaching conversation. This was different. For me to bring the light of the world into my family reunion meant that I was going to need to manage that energy proactively. And so I did. And all the way there, I got pregame pumped up for it. I was playing praise and worship music. I was praising the Lord. I was thankful that I was healthy and happy and had good kids and my car's great and I was going to get there and I had money for gas and I couldn't wait to see family members because, no matter how crazy they are, they're still your family and they're still, God loves them too. That was the other thing. I made the conscious decision to remember that no matter how they act, how they vote, how they anything, which I don't care how they vote, but I know that's a big source of contention in people's families. I decided to remind myself that God loves every single one of them as much as he loves me. Now that'll shift some perspective for you. Chew on that one for about the next 40 days. Oh, 40 days. There's a biblical reference. I didn't mean for that to pop out, but there we are. That was a huge shift. Not going to lie. That just came out of my mouth while I was praising and singing. And I was like, oh. So I felt like the Holy Spirit was like, oh yeah, and don't forget this one. Okay. And so I go into the event and, I just start asking people how they are, having good conversations, getting my food, and being genuinely, lovingly interested in what was going on in their lives. I didn't go in with the, this is going to expectations of how it's been in the past, even though that's the reality of how it's been in the past. I went in with love. I went in I was meeting these people for the first time and just with curiosity and all of the sense of light of the world that I could bring. And I'd have some conversations with one group and then I'd go over and have some conversations with another group. And at one point, we're having this conversation and I started asking questions about stories from my family, things that I had no idea. It was fascinating when you start really genuinely being curious and interested, the stories that people tell. And what I was really mindful about, cautiously mindful about, is when someone would tell a story, not to judge it. That's not what it was about. The judgment is the Lord's anyway. That's not my job. I'm light of the world. That's what I was doing. And so they would tell a story and I'd be like, that's fascinating. And then what happened? And I genuinely was interested. I wasn't faking it because people could tell that too, right? But it was really interesting. And I was, and things I learned about my family that I had no idea. It was really fun. And then we're laughing. And then people on the other side of the room were like, what's going on over there? Keep it down. Then they started laughing. And then they started having different conversation. It was fun. It was fun. And you know what? I looked at my watch when we were all kind of finally getting ready to go. We had been there for 3 hours. Lovingly. It was amazing. So I leave. The next day, my mom sends me a screenshot of a message that one of my older cousins had sent to her about how much fun she had at the reunion and making a note about me being delightful or something. I don't remember. But noticing, now listen, I'm going to tell you, nobody's ever sent a message to me or my mom or anybody about me in a family reunion. And this was new. This was new. And I'm not saying that because I want credit for it, other than the fact that I'm encouraging you that you can bring the light of the world to this, what has traditionally been kind of a shit show. And then I find out that my cousins who always host this party, this reunion, and it's a lot of work to get their place ready for it. It's a lot of people. had said, you know what, we're not sure we want to keep doing this because people just come, they don't stay very long. I don't know if it's, we're getting older. I don't know if it's worth it. And they said it was so much fun. They agreed to have it for next year, which I didn't know going into it, but the Lord did. And that just makes my heart happy that now that I see them differently, that maybe we've got a chance of whipping this thing up into something far better than it's been in the past few years. The Bible says that perfect love drives out fear. And so we don't have to wait for other people to get more loving. We don't have to wait for other people to be different for us to bring that love, because God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love and a sound mind. So what I'm saying is go into your family gathering with love and a sound mind, regulated nervous system, all kinds of love, because the pattern predicting machine that is our brain means that fear is just going to predict more fear, but love can create the safety. And so when we choose love over fear, we don't just change our experience. We literally change the frequency and the energy in the room. How cool is that? So, co-regulation, when we get regulated, means that our nervous systems start to sync up. So when we come in with our tone and our facial expression and our micro movements and calm breath, emitting love, others will pick up on it. Now, if you walk in with a scowl on your face and a anticipating that it's going to suck, that's what you're going to spread. And if that's the case, maybe you should just stay home. I'm just saying. So you are energetically contagious. And that doesn't just mean from a high energy people are contagious. All energy is contagious. So if you want to bring a calming atmosphere to this gathering, be calm. Whatever you bring is what radiates. And if you bring love, it's going to overpower all the others. And so bring enough love just to wash it around the room, let it all ripple into the crevices, the corners. Again, you can't control other people's opinions, but you can impact the emotional environment of your holiday gathering. When you're grounded, your calm becomes a signal of safety to everyone else. You are the light of the world. So this year, I'm suggesting that instead of trying to win the conversation, instead aim to carry the atmosphere of light and love and a little bit of heaven into the room. Because every breath activates your vagus nerve, your super highway of peace. And so do some, 5 breaths in, hold it for 1, and then 6 long breaths out. Do that as your pregame instead of maybe filling up your Yeti with something that you think is going to numb it out. Not saying that I've ever done that, but I've read about people who have. I don't do it anymore because what I found was the more I did that, trying to numb it out, just did not bring the energy that I wanted it to. And then I'm more aggravated. So it just didn't work. It didn't work. Also, gratitude increases serotonin and dopamine, reinforcing the common connection. So like I did, the more that you can feel all sense of gratitude for something about this gathering and people that are going to be there, or the holiday spirit, or how you want to model who and what to be for your children. That's another big part of it, is if you have the fear, yuck, I don't want to go to this thing, and you're speaking that, you've already created the pattern of expectation for your family, your kids, that this is a bummer. So we don't really want to pass that on before they've even had a chance to experience it for themselves. So this presence of calm and peace and gratitude regulates around safety for you and others. So decide how you want to pregame this holiday gathering with some prayer, with some breath work. And then while you're there, listen more than you speak. Be curious. Just know that everybody is kind of doing the best they can. And sometimes that doesn't look like you'd like for it to look. But you're probably not going to change these people's behavior with your judgments or your advice. So let that be a place that you are just curious and ask questions that are interesting about stories from your past. And then afterwards, reflect on it. How did it go? How did it feel to bring your peace into the room? Because I bet there's other places that this could be helpful in the way that you bring your energy into the room. So I'm going to give you a couple of reflection questions. What past holiday memory does your body still anticipate? Good, bad, joy, fear. Just being aware of it allows you to then decide how you want to interrupt the pattern, because you do have the power to do that. Question number 2, how might you renew your mind to see this year as a new story? Not changing other people's behavior, just interacting differently. And number 3, what would it look like to show up as the light instead of reacting to the noise? I love that one. So you were designed to be a carrier of peace. We may not always use those capabilities as much as we could, but you are designed that way. You already have everything that you need to do it. And the same God who built your nervous system to protect you also built it to restore you. So when you choose love over fear, you partner with heaven to rewrite not just your story, but what if you were a catalyst for rewriting the family's story? This holiday, just be the light. All right. Love you, mean it. I'm not coming down. I never left it on the ground. I'm not coming down. Thanks for being here. You can follow us on Instagram, Business is Human, or TikTok, Rebecca Fleetwood Hession. It's a great way to share some of the clips with your colleagues and friends. All right. Make it a great day. Love you, mean it.